Hello everyone, Spencer here with Loop, and in this video I'm going to break down how to get the emails of your perfect customer. This is going to be a continuation of the last video on how to extract a list from Built With, and let's jump into it. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink my head real quick. It's important. That's me doing the sound effect, sorry. All right, so I think from one of my longer videos, if you watch that one, this is Apollo, and Apollo is one of the greatest tools on the internet. So, what Apollo does is it's just broken down leads like in the smartest way possible. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I think the way it works is like this, and it's a no-brainer. You're gonna wonder why you didn't think of it. Apollo goes into LinkedIn and it looks at first name, last name, and who they work for. It saves that information into base. Well, this is me guessing. This is how I would have engineered it. It saves that information into, let's call it a database, a spreadsheet. And then what Apollo will do is it knows to guess. I think there's 32 different formats for what an email would be. First initial, last name, first name, last initial, first name, first name, dot last name, all those different variations. It pings all of those emails. And then the one that returns the ping basically is the real email. So using a little bit of machine learning, they've got really good accuracy on what the emails are for every company. And then they take third-party data like from hunter.io and other tools like that to basically guess the data. Now, they're not the first company to do this. They're not the last company to do this. The reason I use them is because of their pricing. So it's $19 a month for like unlimited data, which if you have never used a lead sourcing engine before, that's insane. So like discover.org, zoom.info, that's like $1,200 a month for this exact same service. Like, I would be telling you right now, use the absolute shit out of this service before it gets acquired, because it's going to get acquired. I really hope the owners don't sell it. There's another one that I really, really, really like. It's called Uplead. I'm actually friends with the owner on that one. And I've also used hunter.io as well. So let me pop a couple of these up for you. Uplead is pretty close to the same as Apollo. Again, I'm somewhat friendly with the owner. And then another one that I've used in the past is hunter.io. And what these tools do is they're using different strategies to basically guess people's emails. Hunter.io is one of like the more safe, I would say, maybe professional ways of doing it. So check this out. If I go to netsapiens.com, they've got 14 emails in here. Here are their emails. What I like about Hunter is they're not guessing the emails like other providers are. They're finding where the sources are. So press releases, here's all the other websites that have shown a Dana Larkin's email, or, Dave George. I'm putting you on blast here, bud. But look at Telco Bridges. And then what they'll do is show you like like Wikipedia does, the links on where it was documented. And because of that, you have some accuracy here. Now, what you can do with this list with Hunter.io is actually dump in an entire database, and then they'll process it for you. So, for example, that Built With database that we dumped in, you can take all of the websites, just like I did netsapiens.com here, and find every email for every company and kick it out. That's great. The only thing I don't like about that is it's not targeted, right? You don't want to target every single person at a company, which is what Hunter will give you. You can try and filter the data, but they don't really tie back to like LinkedIn to know if their title really is something. And so my first take at a cold outreach, not my first take, but my recent take at a cold outreach, I am doing everything that I'm explaining to you, and it's working. If you don't know, December last year, I acquired a second company with my own money, and it is called Median. And so what we ended up doing with Median to grow that company is finding the perfect lead list. That's the exact same way I've grown Loop too. I basically found that if I had every email to my perfect customer, that it's actually really easy to build a business and grow it, because then it's just sales, and the rest of that you can kind of outsource or insource or do whatever to figure out the operations part. But sales is the most important in my personal opinion. So backing up on that, I dumped in a list of 300,000 Intercom customers into Hunter, kicked out an email list of like 150,000 people, and started banging out emails to that list, and quickly learned that like I was targeting people who weren't decision makers, and I was not only wasting their time, I was wasting my time. I drove a lot of interest, but they just weren't people who could make decisions. So I was setting up calls and demos and showing people products that they had absolutely no say over. So because of that, I kind of stopped using Hunter. Again, Uplead is a good friend of mine, so I definitely recommend giving his business a shot. But before I heard about Uplead, I had signed up for Apollo already, and I've just been with them for a little over a year now. So you have that list with Built With. I'm going to try and do step-by-step guide here on the exact thing I would do to build your perfect customer list. So what's interesting about this is I do own another company called Median that I referenced, and I'm going to use that example here because that's the lead list that I have from Built With. So I want to make this as relevant as possible to you. I don't have a lead list. My lead list for Loop is pretty dialed in because I actually have a list of every NetSapiens customer, and we can get into that information if you need to, or shoot me an email. I'll explain how I did that at another time. Keynote, it took a lot of work. Alrighty. So account, industry. First thing I want to do here, even without the Built With, is pop in HubSpot, HubSpot right here, and see if we can just kick out a list. Oh my God. So here's a list of companies that are using HubSpot, 240,000. You might not need to use Built With now that I'm thinking about it. So here's what I want to do. Since I'm selling VoIP, what we're going to want to do is type in, I think what we're going to want to do is not employees. I want someone that's located by me. So we're going to do Dallas, Fort Worth area. Let's do that. Okay. So now we're talking, right? So here's a list of people that are in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. So there is a downfall of Apollo. It's not all roses and rainbows. They don't let you export all 2,900 in one fell swoop. So in theory, you could literally click select all and then watch. It prompts you. You have to pay for custom pricing. It's annoying. But you can still get everything that you would get with that custom pricing. It's just annoying. So what I mean by that is you could say there's 25 per page. You could select apply all to the 25. What just happened? All right, so we selected them all. Now check this out. I don't know what Apollo is doing here, but we're going to add them to a list, and we're going to call this list VoIP lead gen. So check this out. We're going to add it to VoIP lead gen. And there we go. So we just added 25 people to VoIP lead gen. Looks like we've saved 75 of these. So what I like to do is now switch over to this net new. This should change. And now here's where this gets annoying. And I'm sorry that you have to do this. Maybe you're willing to pay them to save your time. I'm poor, so I don't. Add to list, VoIP lead gen. And I keep doing this until I've literally added all 2,000 people. So we're going to select apply, net new, select all 25, select page, add to list. That looks like the same list. That should drop every time I do this. It should change. Yep, there we go. Select page, add to list. I know this is annoying. I'm not going to do it the whole video. I'm just giving you the preface of exactly how I do this. There might be better ways. So I'm going to do this one more time just to show you. You can do this for all 3,000 people, and you get the same result as if you paid for their enterprise custom pricing. Okay? That's it. So now we've got 135 in here on this saved list. You can keep adding 25 at a time. It's a shit ton of clicks. It's going to take you 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Maybe you can have somebody else do it. All right. Now that I've apologized enough, we're going to export this list. Here we go. We're going to select all. Notice how you can select all now that it's our saved list already. And we're going to now click find the people. Right? All righty. Boom. Look at this. If this doesn't make you smile, I don't know what does. So we just found 150,000 people from that 115 person list. Basically, this is all the employees. Now, if you want to get super specific, I'm going to try this. I'm not sure it's going to work. Job title. We're going to pop HubSpot in there. Oh, that would have been dope if someone popped up. I've done that with Salesforce. There's like Salesforce admin is a title for a lot of people. All right. So now this is where it gets a little bit trickier. You've got to figure out the person you want to target out of this 150,000 people. A lot of times it's IT. It makes the final decision, but to get the in-way into the business, what you're actually going to want to look for is the person who manages like the call center or the HubSpot account. So if you start to get into the brains of kind of that, let's see if we can search department job function. Let's see if that does anything. Create new persona. No. So let me think here. We already know that they're using HubSpot. We're going to want, when you go after these title stuff, I like to go after these guys, head, director. That's kind of the list. So that cuts it down to 20,000 people. Now you want to add the title in here. So, oh man, it would be the title. Let's see, who operates in HubSpot all day? I can't believe HubSpot didn't pop up. Did I type it wrong last time? Is it loading? All right, well, here's what we'll do. We'll type in IT. Alrighty, well, that cut the list down quite a bit. Here's directors of ITs at all these companies. I'm not excited about this list because it doesn't directly make them happy, right? If I was to focus on like making the person happy, this guy's not it, right? Because he might be happy, but he's probably trying to cut budget because his budget is tied to. So the higher you go up in a lot of these organizations, their budgets and bonuses are tied to like the tech spend that they can pull off. So a lot of them figure out ways to work a thin budget, which is fine. If you can value add these guys, you're in a good place. But what you really need to find is like, I'm looking for like HubSpot admin or someone with the title CRM. Let's see if we got anything in there for that. Okay, so head of CRM growth, CRM lifecycle.
New visitor.
These are good people, because like they're like you already filtered by HubSpot, so you know that these are perfect people to go after. Small list though, not what we're looking for. Let's try. I got one. Here. You know what? Customer. So here we go. This is a list I would go after. So we got your customer success people who basically are responsible for closing more or renewing accounts, and those accounts live in HubSpot. So and customer support people are probably logging tickets into HubSpot. These guys are the people who are living into HubSpot all day, every day. This is the list I would start off with. So you remember it started with like 25,000 people. We've dropped it down to 88. Since you already have that annoying million clicks that we did in a while back, when you were generating like that add to list, you can actually, oh my God, you can't select all. So you can select the page and then freaking continue to save them. And then long story short, once you have them saved, you can come over here to saved and then you can click export. I know it doesn't say that, but I already have these people in a different list somewhere, and then you can export them. Where's the export the list? God, I'm struggling. I appreciate everyone who's watching this hanging in there with me. But the long story short, we can't, wait a second. All right. We can't export because no one's selected. So if I click select all, there we go. Now you can export. Okay. So once you have this list, you basically have an email list of all the perfect people. Now, these 17 that you're seeing here, I already have saved. And the reason I already have them saved is not because they're using HubSpot actually, but because they're using live chat or intercom. So those are people I'm targeting in a different industry. But once you export them, we can look at one of these guys. It tells you everything. Okay? When I say everything, I mean everything. You got their phone number, their email. You can actually click to their LinkedIn profile. The fact that I just did this also tells her that I viewed her LinkedIn profile, like a director of customer success for 2 years. And then if you have the Apollo extension, you can actually see this over here on the right side, everything that you need to see, right? Pretty awesome. On top of that, since Apollo has a Chrome extension, I want to go ahead and show you this. We're going to type in my good friends NetSapiens again. We're going to swing over here to NetSapiens. We're going to click the 64 employees they got working here. Look at you. And since Apollo is an extension, they can edit the code inside of LinkedIn to add features to it, which is just awesome. So now I can literally click, give me all of NetSapiens employees, and then click, save to list, add to sequence. Apollo also has their own emailing tool. I don't use it because I see them as a lead gen engine, not an emailing tool. And in this next video, I'm going to go over basically everything that I would do for cold outreach. But one of the things that I do like about Apollo is inside the cold outreach, Apollo grabs their LinkedIn profile. So you can actually add, not to sound creepy, but their profile pictures into like a cold email. And we'll go over that in my next tool. But as an example of the Apollo extension, we're going to go ahead and click the CEO here, Anand of NetSapiens, and look at all of his information right here. And look at this. They're in a lead list already for me because they're using live chat somewhere inside of the NetSapiens website. So I'll probably, in automation, end up reaching out to them for Median. Obviously, I already know them very well for Loop. So Loop is actually, according to something Dave George told me, who works at NetSapiens, is one of the first or second most deployed third-party integrations in all of NetSapiens. So pretty excited about that. We're doing good on that front. So long story short, one of the reasons why you want to have this perfect list that we were talking about over here in Apollo is, one, you can email them, but also this is where you really start to get dangerous, and that's, I'm going to hint something for you, and that's make money in your sleep. So what do I mean by make money in your sleep? You can set up paid advertising to hit them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, all of that, because you have their email. So if you might be thinking, oh, it's their work email. Let me tell you something. Facebook, Google, they all know exactly what emails what and who's tied to who. So you can actually upload that lead list that we just downloaded into Facebook and all these third-party tools and say run ads to them. And the best part is, since it's a targeted lead list, it will cost you next to nothing. Like you can spend $5 a day and have ads running in sequence to all of these. And I'll end up making another video on that, because you might be thinking, how in the world, or why in the world would I target people on Facebook and Instagram? And I can tell you that's small-minded thinking, but I'll explain that more in another video. For now, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, Spencer at loopdb.com, or you can actually just join our Slack channel. If you're not in the Slack channel, shoot me an email. I'll reply, and there's a link with an invite in my signature. Love to talk to you. Love to have you sign up for Loop. Our goal is to create a win-win scenario that ends up making you more money. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and on to the next video.